Okay, so here's what we'll cover today. We're going to talk about lean thinking and how it developed into what we're calling guardrails. And it's around large transformations in forms of hundreds to thousands of people. We'll discuss what we mean by guardrails, why should we care about them, and then moving forward, we'll look at how you can use Lean-Agile Guiderails to drive change in your organization. So with a refresher, or just frame this talk about lean and why we should care about it. So when we're trying to get lean into an organization, we're really thinking in terms of changing the mindset. And specifically, we want to look at changing the focus of management. From processes, if you're thinking waterfall, built around projects where you build pieces, different component groups, different layers. You build those to a spec in different silos and then integrate later. We're trying to move to an organic adaptive process driven by lean principles and practices, also part of the agile practice set. And the mindset needs to go to one of creating value. And think swarming collaboration, a group that organically can experiment and learn. And this is really critical in today's world because things change so fast, especially in platforms and technologies we use. If the project takes too long, the technology underneath it is going to change before we deliver. One word that comes to mind when we think of lean, and that should be flow. And when I say flow, I mean steady stream of completed, consumable product. And this can be in the form of enhancements, new capabilities. And we want to look at how work flows through the value stream. And I'll give you another quick definition there. Value stream refers to all the steps, the people, the activities that we need to create the product, the value, in the form of consumable by the end user, enhancement, new capability, etc. Well, we want to look at our organization now as a system and employ systems thinking. And look at the value stream as a system, and we want to see inputs and outputs and be able to see work flow through that value stream in our organization. And some other to mine are respecting people. And in the context of what I'm talking about here, systems thinking just in a position to work on the system. And we do that where an outcome of that systems thinking is to look to the system for issues instead of looking to blame people or performance of people. What we want to look instead is the system that the people are put in to work. Let's work on that. So you'll hear me say working on the system versus working in the system, and that's what I mean. That's a lean mindset idea. So we also want to think about focusing on that value delivery coming out of the value stream, completely delivered work ready to be consumed by the end user. And when we say just in time, we're referring to that steady stream of delivery, be that, again, in the form of enhancements or new products, new capabilities. We have to commit to quality. This is a lean mindset that is all of the agile practices as well. Commit to, for an organic, self-organizing group, has to commit to continuous improvement. And these changes that we're talking about to change over to a lean mindset, at the end of it all, it requires management. Management has to own and lead this transition, or you're really not going to get the kind of return on investment that you're looking at. The goals and the benefits of transforming to an agile organization. We like to summarize it by saying the value that you get is you're able to discover and deliver the highest business value in the shortest amount of time in a predictable and sustainable fashion with a possible quality. So really, if you've got an organization that can do this, you're now able to participate in the fast markets that we have to deal with today. So a transformation, and let me set up how these lean thinking and lean principles evolved into the need a guardrail approach. The context was large transformations. And this chart here is supposed to represent the top level is leaders and leadership. You have to do a transformation starting at the top, meaning the principles and practices and the mindset has to be understood by the leaders if you really want to get the transformation to take root in the whole organization. So you change at all levels, and you have to get lean, agile mindset change at scale, if you will. And requires some guidelines because the challenge is trying to get lean principles understood at all of these levels, at the enterprise, at the program, at the team, at the individual. So what we were faced with is how do we define simple lean concepts that apply at all levels and keep us safe at the same time? And a piece of this is how do guardrails, if you will, guide a transformation. So a transformation for a large group, it really is a journey. It's not something that happens in a quarter. It's 1, 2, 3 years out before you really can expect to get the full desired change with mindsets and culture in a lean, agile position. And guardrails provide these guidelines. Again, one of the main tenets of lean is building an organization that can self-organize in an organic fashion. Guardrails provide safety and guidelines in that adaptive environment. They serve as boundaries. They keep the organization, the teams, the individuals safe as you organically develop product in this fashion. So you start with looking at the organization through assessments, get a baseline, get a chartering event where the leaders understand where they want to go and commit to it. Then you establish guardrails and start permeating the organization with the notion of here's the guardrails we're going to operate under. Then you start looking at agility in different parts of the organization, business agility, management agility, team agility, and we find measures to see how we're doing. And then we take those measures and we take the ceremonies that we know about in lean and agile space and try to determine what are the issues, what are the roadblocks, why are we stuck, and then using the guardrails, we start looking at ways to change practices. We challenge our organization to change, to look for alternatives, to change the way they do work, again framed by the guardrails.